welcome back to another episode of Repressed Humor Issues. I am browbeaten, and by the way, rigatoni's overrated, also known as Brian.
I'm not Robert Downey Jr., not the weakest Avenger, also known as Dan.
Now, I think my name needs a little bit of explanation because
Absolutely. I want them to know everything that's going on.
You're
with
an
this.
asshole is where we're going to start with this. So Dan and I...
Just so we're aware, my wife pitched in on this assholeness.
God damn it. I mean, I love her for this so much more. But all right. So Dan and I do a lot of calls together during the week for work and whatnot. Anyway, for whatever reason, Teams, Zoom, it doesn't really matter. I have like the soft focus or the filter on there a little bit to soften my rough looks. And inevitably, it has gotten rid of my eyebrows almost entirely. Even when I take off the setting now, my camera can't seem to adjust back to letting me have eyebrows.
Realize he's got little Hitler eyebrows is what he has at this point.
Not in real life, but...
Not in real life, but that's what the camera is doing. The camera
does not do me wonders when it comes to eyebrows.
And it's great because we've got a few of Ryan's co-workers, especially high up in the company, now making jokes about his eyebrows.
It's true. Like multiple times all this week, it's just been about the eyebrows. So Dan, Dan texts me and he's like, "You're going to get a package. Give me your address."
No, what I said was, "Give me your home address,"
which I didn't even hesitate to give you.
Yeah, I bet my wife. We didn't bet money or anything like that. I just bet my wife that I would not get a Y first. I didn't even get a Y afterwards. I just got your address.
Yeah, I trust you a little too much.
Based off of what happened, obviously.
Yeah, so you messaged me that you're going to get a package. Oh, this okay. Sorry, there's something else in here that I was like, oh, I didn't know it came with that. But anyway, so my concierge, which is not fancy, it's just the setup of the apartment, has to scan in the packages. So like Dan tells me it got delivered, I'm like, I gotta wait. So fast forward to midnight last night when I got back and I go get the package. Open it today. You're an asshole. You are an asshole. So I'm showing this like show and tell like people can see, but I'll just describe it. It's a Brow Fix brow kit in light Claire color palette, I guess. It comes with like a little brush, a little tweezer, and 3 different shades to highlight and darken my brows, because it says highlight on the top. I don't know what the fuck that really means, but yeah, so I guess for Monday I'll make sure I have this on so I have fully noticeable brows. But
now the best part about this is he was starting to guess what he was going to get. He was making guesses at it yesterday because I obviously told him there was something coming. I just didn't tell him what. But do you remember what it was that I said that it could be? That nearly like your coworker came on and you were crying. You were laughing so hard.
Oh,
yes. At one point, I said, it's sunglasses with Eggman eyebrows from Sonic. And you said, oh, I would have expected it would have been dildos. And I said, no, it's dill brows. And you just lost your shit right before the guy comes onto the call where you're having to wipe your eyes. You're laughing so hard.
And one of the C-suites was coming on the call, and I'm dousing my eyes or blotting my eyes from all the tears because I was laughing so hard. So fucking stupid.
So realize this is an ongoing joke that will continue to go on, because now I'm going to make sure that every time I'm on a call with Brian and somebody else at his work, that he has to show his present.
I have to use it. I have to. I think you actually it's what's strange is I think, like, if we were color matching, like, I'm not good at makeup things, but I think you got my color correct. Like
that's where my wife came in. She stalked you on Facebook to find out what color would be best for you to make sure that I asked her for something that was eyebrow
yeah.
related because she came up with the idea of why don't you send him an
Oh
eyebrow
my
brush?
god.
And I was, yeah, okay. I started looking a little bit and realized I was out of my realm. And I said, can you go do it? And she actually stalked you on Facebook to find the best picture to find your hair color to match it up to
Oh,
that
that's
tint.
incredible. Well, so normally, we do a, list of sorts, but I have a surprise for Dan, and it comes in the form of a quiz.
I love surprises.
I
Honestly, I
know.
do. This is how much I love them. I've never had a birthday party.
I am with you on the birthday thing. I don't actually like any kind of I don't actually like having my birthday celebrated.
Neither do I. To the point that when I worked for a large retailer, you know
Mm.
which one, my team actually kept a birthday list, and my list was named Danvember 42nd.
Uh,
Yes, it wasn't until like a year before I left that somebody finally on my team found out when my birthday was, and that's because they put it up on a bigger screen for a bigger team thing. So,
well, this quiz is gonna be risque. It's gonna
oh,
be a little filthy. So it's
okay.
5 at random Urban Dictionary phrases that I need you to define.
Okay, so this goes back to is the one that I
Yeah,
asked you to look
yeah,
up the other
yeah.
day on there?
Uh,
Do I?
yeah, there's I have a long list to pull from.
Okay, I'm just wondering. Do I need Urban Dictionary up? I have to go and read these from the Urban Dictionary, or do I
I'm gonna let
have
you
to?
go, and then I will tell you what it is. So
Okay,
you don't have to do anything except for use your mind. So
okay, and realize this comes from. We had a conversation earlier this week where I talked about how Urban Dictionary has still not allowed throat sweat in as a definition. We put that in probably about 3 months ago, and no word from Urban Dictionary
which is
whatsoever.
a title of one of our episodes, throat sweat syndrome.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, that was where the taste that Ryan gets at the moisture that Ryan gets at the back of his throat, thinking of something that he doesn't want to eat or drink. He defined it. I just tried to make it a thing on Urban Dictionary. So please go to Urban Dictionary and try to get throat sweat added. That would be a victory for
so
us.
the first one that I found that I want to quiz you on is alligator fuckhouse.
Ooh, alligator fuckhouse. Um, That's when a woman that is attempting to give you head has gets way too teethy with the way that she's
Nope,
sucking on
nope.
you. No,
Mid
okay.
coitus, one person bites the neck of the other, locks their arms and legs down, and goes into a death roll, all while maintaining insertion.
Got it. Okay. Because I was gonna say, just biting somebody on the neck is not necessarily enough to be able to say that that should be on Urban Dictionary. It's the added pieces that just get you to
Yep.
that point. So,
All right, number 2, angel's touch.
angel's touch. God, there's so many ways that I could go with that. So all of these are risque and dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's when you just rub your finger lightly over somebody's butthole.
That's pretty good, but no. Um, when you are peeing or shitting and your dick touches the urinal toilet where other dicks probably have been.
Oh, my biggest problem is when it touches the water at the bottom of the bowl.
Oh my god. All right, number 3.
You didn't even get the full implications
Oh,
of
I
what I
get it. I
was
was just
saying
moving
there.
past it mentally. So. Number 3, cold lunch.
Cold lunch. Well, I got to come up with something. This I already know I'm not going to get the definition that's there, and you could see I'm
Yeah, yeah.
not looking on Urban Dictionary to find this. Um, Cold lunch. Let's say that's making somebody sit out in the snow for 10 minutes before eating them out.
God, your creativity's there. I'm gonna full credit there. It's a simple sexual act of forcing yourself to throw up into another person's mouth, usually in the result of the other person eating
Ew.
it.
I mean, I'm a sympathy puker. Somebody even makes the noise of starting to puke, and there's no way anything's going down my throat. It's coming back out.
So number 4, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Oh, I am. Okay. It's well, now I'm beside two that I want to do because one's terrible. One's really bad.
Worse than Space Doc Fondue Party? Look it
Uh-huh.
up. Space
Uh-huh.
Doc Fondue Party.
This is
Okay.
worse than that. Well, yeah, it's still worse. Okay, we're gonna do it. Munting. Munting.
Oh, and I've looked this one up before and I forget what it is. Dang it. So I used to work in an office that there was like 6 of us that were all in this tiny office. Like not the building, just the office itself. They were big offices, but we were really crammed in there. And we used to have competitions to find out who could find the worst thing on Urban Dictionary.
This one's
And
brutal.
munting was one of them, but I cannot remember what it is. Um, so, ooh, God, all I could think of is it rhymes with punting, but I can't think of what you do with the M in front of punting. Um, it's when you kick somebody in their mastectomy scars.
You're far off on this one, my friend.
I figured.
It's a variation of necrophilia involving 2 live people and 1 dead.
Doing what?
Sex.
Oh,
It's
well,
a 3-way with a dead person.
okay. There's no way you could figure that out based off of the name.
No,
Of it.
there's no context clues in the that one. Sorry, this one. Damn it.
I don't get credit for saying kicking somebody in their mastectomy scars. I mean, that was the worst possible thing I could think of.
You do. I this one's too simple, but I liked it. But okay, we'll do the 5th one. Midas touch.
Oh. So everything Midas does turns to gold. So it's got to be touching something. But what would Midas touch sexually that you would worry about turning to gold?
This to be fair, this I'll give you a hint. This one's not sexual.
Oh. Well, that now you've completely thrown me off because I was trying to think about what somebody could do with somebody's butthole. The brown Midas. Let's see. I don't know on this one. That you've left it way too open.
Okay, it's the accidental tipping of a finger with poo when wiping one's anus after dumping.
Oh, it's the torn toilet paper syndrome. Yeah. Okay. That's why everybody folds the toilet paper over as many times as they want, so they don't have any accidental poo finger.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah. I mean, especially you go to a mall or you go to a restaurant and they have that one ply that you can see through.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, you have to consider that. Yeah, you have to consider that half ply, and you have to fold it over like 9 times.
You got to get it to at least like 3.5 ply by that many folds.
Because there's nothing worse than poo finger.
It's also a weaker toilet paper. Let's be real. Even if you fold it over, it's still physically weaker.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's see-through. It's a half ply. It's not a full ply.
Yeah.
Like they literally have somebody somewhere saying, "How can we make this thinner?"
Yeah, it's airplane toilet paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I can honestly say I've never shit on an airplane.
oh, I have. I
Yeah.
long flights,
Yeah.
flight to Hong Kong and for 15 hours on that
Yeah.
flight.
Longest I've been on an airplane is 8 hours. So
It's just a long.
I've never had it to the point where I had to go do that. We already know from previous episodes about my poo issues and my mass production and that sort of stuff. The last thing that I want to do is have to go find out what a plunger in an airplane looks like.
Oh, I think that just opens to the sky, doesn't it?
No, there's a container down
Okay.
below that it opens to, but if it doesn't slide, because there's not a lot of water.
There's
And
usually no water actually.
yeah, so if it doesn't slide, it's just stuck there. What are you going to do with it? There's
Because
no water to
there's
plunge.
a suction. It's a physical suction that happens. It should get it
But
all.
but what I'm saying is a really gooey poo. I don't know why we went into this
I don't know.
detail.
Well, the Midas
Some,
touch.
something that sticks to the side of the bowl just isn't going to move down no matter how much suction you put in. Somebody's got to close off that that
It's
stall
quarantined.
until they land, and then somebody's going in there with a hazmat suit with what I'm referencing now that they probably should call it as the glove. Like it's just it looks like the gauntlet from Infinity Wars. You know, it's
So
got the
missing it.
5 joules, but those are the 5 disinfectants that it sprays out while it's grabbing.
Jesus Christ. Ah,
Yeah. So if you're going to do that, I am going to make you go to Urban Dictionary and tell everybody what a space dock fondue party is. I just think we've already teased it. It is
wait.
the
I'm not looking on my work computer. Jesus. What am I doing?
this is something that in that room with the 5 other people we found,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
it's absolutely the most disgusting thing on Urban Dictionary, in my opinion.
Okay. Space dock fondue. One female is chosen to serve as the fondue pot. One male has taken a gentle laxative, shits watery diarrhea into the woman's vagina, thus filling the space dock fondue pot. Next, each man at the party takes turns in dipping his hard pole into the fondue pot covered with shit. Finally, each man's partner licks the feces off his shit encrusted dick as if it were a chocolate covered banana. That is fucking terrible.
I just wanted to see if you'd actually read it. So now that nobody is going to be listening to us.
Yeah, I mean, what are we gonna call this one? Like fucking urban fondue pot? I mean, Jesus.
Oh, I think we got a title.
Uh,
So let's get away from the shitty conversation.
yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So what I'd like to talk about today is realizing that in my past life I've been a product taxonomist. That brings a lot of grammar pieces to you. I'm a big believer in the Oxford comma, that most people don't even realize what an Oxford comma is. There's a lot of things about language that bug me when people use it. I actually wrote to the Oxford Dictionary and Webster's dictionary companies when they added heart as a verb. Now, this is going back like 15 years ago, maybe 10.
Okay.
And the other one that they did was they added muffin top. I actually wrote them, and in the chain of emails, it obviously went to somebody that they took my name off of it. They had a conversation, and in the middle of the conversation, it said, "Oh, here's another one of these guys." So, and then they basically told me they just follow trends, and I said, "Well, if you're not the arbiter of the English language, who is?" And they said, "Well, we're not." Both companies deflected, saying they're the arbiter of the English language.
So is it
So
Webster's?
it's neither. I sent stuff to both companies. I've just since decided not to, because obviously they're not the definitive source of language for the English language. They prefer to document things that are going to make them popular online.
Ah,
And if you follow the Webster's Dictionary Twitter feed, there's sometimes that he's pretty funny, or he or she, they are pretty funny.
I
So
didn't even know they were active on Twitter.
yes, they are. So, anyways, today's episode is going to be about things people say that make you want to instantly punch them in the face.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
long list.
Yeah, and it has to be something that multiple people say, and they say it repeatedly, and either they say it wrong or they say it in a combination of words that just aggravates you.
Can I start? I got one that
Sure.
just drives me crazy.
Yeah, just
Crazy.
realize it's a good thing that we're not in the same room because there'd be a lot of punching going on in the middle of this.
uh, when somebody says irregardless.
Yeah, see, that's a simple one. Everybody knows about that. There is no such word as irregardless.
Right. But it's a double negative.
Yes.
It's
And
insane. It's
I
like you're
could
contradicting
spend
yourself in a word.
I could spend hours talking about double negatives. I mean, we were listening to a song while we were going out for date night last night, and the entire song was double negatives. I ain't got no. I mean, come on, that means you do. I mean, literally, it was I ain't no child killer, and that means you are a child killer. I mean, they should be investigating those lyrics for possible charges against the person that wrote that because they just admitted that they're a child killer.
Well, it's kind of like there's a TikTok out there of a guy that teaches you how to speak Midwest,
Okay.
like saying like yeah, no, yeah, or yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that kind of
I
stuff.
know. We're stuck in the same TikTok vein, so I know the guy that you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, he's actually pretty great
He's
content
got
creator.
he does a really good job of you betcha.
Oh yeah, yeah, he does. He does.
Yes.
He's very
That
good.
and talking about hot dish here in Minnesota.
Hot dish.
You don't know what hot dish is?
I don't think so.
It's just a casserole. Any casserole is basically
Oh,
hot dish. Normally it'll have tater tots in it. Sometimes it won't, but that's hot dish.
well, it's like what Wisconsin, I think, is the only state that says bubbler, right?
That's a Milwaukee thing, actually. I lived in Milwaukee for a bit. It's not even the whole state. Milwaukee calls it bubblers because the water bubbles up in it, in the fountain.
Dumb.
It took me a while to get used to that as well.
Um,
So,
but irregardless drives me nuts because
yeah.
that always has. It's never made sense. I think people were trying to get it put in uh, Oxford or Webster, and I don't know if it was ever added, and if because I think ain't got added at one point,
I was always told ain't a word because it ain't in the dictionary.
and I think it is now.
Yeah, see, that's where they decided that the English language does not need arbitration. It just needs fascination. And that's a slow degrade of our language into something that will eventually really come down to what was that movie where it was like 1,000 years in the future where everybody was stupid because only the stupid people procreated?
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting to the point where idiocracy is coming through in so many different ways. So
Yeah.
I have a problem, and this goes back to a guy that I worked with. And Matt, if you ever hear this for some reason, just realize more than you have done this, but you did this more than anybody that I ever knew. Uh, when they meant to say specifically, they say
Oh.
pacifically.
Oh, I hate that.
I don't get where that comes from. They're two unique words. One is an ocean, one is a specificity. Why?
Well, that's like I'm with you on this one. I think as a small child, I probably said Pacific, because I was 3 or 5 or whatever.
The SP becomes problematic in a certain point of development in your very young years.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make fun of
No,
people
you're talking
with.
about adults.
Yeah, but I'm also not talking about people with speech impediments. Okay, there can be speech impediments that do this. There are people that actively don't know the difference between them saying specifically and pacifically.
Yep.
And it's just I was trying to think of another good example of that, just in case I needed to reference it somehow else. I can't find another reference where somebody uses a word so wrongly in a sentence, so obviously wrongly in a sentence.
I mean, there's things that I think people misunderstand in grammar, like affect versus effect, like when you use
Yes.
that correctly. But specific, pacific, that's distinctly different things. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the English language is fun because break versus break. I mean, I just said it with
red,
two different
bread,
definitions.
read.
Yeah. Two, and two.
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of ways that the English language is just screwed up. But purposely going and supplementing words that don't belong. Every once in a while, I've used a word that has been a little bit, I thought I knew the definition enough that it would fit in. And afterwards, I was wondering, did I just say that right? But I've never just specifically used an entirely wrong word.
Yeah, I don't. It's never intentional. Um, Damn it. I
And
was trying to
then
think of
we
the
get,
next one. I'm having a massive brain fart right now.
it's because he's still wondering how bad his brows look. That's what it is.
They aren't beaten. That's for damn
He's
sure.
I keep on seeing him peeking down at that kit, reading the back of it, wondering, wondering, will this really make a difference? Should I use the tweezers or should I use the brush?
Yeah, maybe let's get the hairs in the middle. Well, I did need a tweezer, so that was kind of a nice thing. My tweezers, like, I don't know.
Hey, my jokes still have value.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, back to the point. Um, uh, there's those people that also use words that they obviously don't know what they mean. Like
Such
absolutely obviously don't. And as much as it may be innocent, it's still one of those things where when somebody does that, you just want to beat the stupid out of them. Because it is stupid to choose to use a word like Michael Scott did all the time. Okay, on The Office. It
yeah.
is use a word that you want to use that you don't know the definition for it. Or at least you don't even understand the underlying tones to know where it fits in the sentence.
Such as.
Oh God, you're gonna make me come up with another example right now? I said I had problems coming up with these examples.
Well, it's like the one that I couldn't care less versus I could care less.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's a good one.
yeah, like I mean, okay. Actually, I have to mentally shift gears. My brain finally came back up. It's not that somebody's misspeaking. I hate corporate jargon.
Oh yeah, so let's get into that because there's a bunch of stuff we can synthesize together to
And
come up with dynamic responses.
I know other podcasts talk about this. I know it's all over TikTok, but we haven't talked about it, so fuck it. One of I would say low hanging fruit is so overused. And
I actually don't mind that one, but I'm trying to think of an instance when I've used it in the last year, and I don't use that. So it's interesting because I don't mind the saying, but I won't say it.
yeah, so like the one I truly won't say, it's table stakes.
Yeah.
Like,
And
fuck off.
unfortunately, I've had to say that many times just simply because trying to get the company that you work for to understand there's table stakes offerings that have to be out there has been difficult.
Well, I mean, I understand that some of it's somewhat needed, maybe, but there's other ways to say it.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
So
oh,
go ahead.
I have so many because I think like this is a dumb one, but it's a phrase. Can you hop on a call real quick?
Yeah, I could see why that would make you want to be punchy. It's not that they're saying anything wrong. It's just it's annoying to hear that.
It's a trigger thing,
Yeah.
right?
And I do that to you all the time. You got 5 minutes, you got 5 minutes, you got 5 minutes.
That's different. Like we're friends. Like and it's but like I have salespeople or whatever, and I know it's part of the job, but 90% of what they're after could be typed out quickly, and we don't have to do a call.
Yeah.
Like
See,
I got a lot going on.
Well, so working where I did previously, we had a lot of sensitivities to certain words. One of them is you were never allowed to say there was an issue. You had to say there was an opportunity. And that one's
Oh,
always bugged me because sometimes there's just issues. Sometimes you have to talk about the issue. Sometimes to get out of symptomology, you have to talk about what the real issue is. But we always had to reference them as opportunities. And somebody couldn't be on a corrective action plan, they had to be on a performance plan because it seemed less egregious, it seemed less negative, but it was a negative situation. You were getting written up. Going on a performance plan was them basically saying, we're documenting everything you do wrong from here on forward so we can get rid of you. Everybody knows what a performance plan is. You never get, so few people got out of their performance plans. Most of them got out of the building.
yeah.
So,
Heads up to anyone that's listening that's just getting into the working world. If you get put on a PIP, performance, whatever they want to call it, just find another job. Just go. They're already
yeah.
they're trying to make a way to get you out. Just get.
My boss refers to that as a resume clarifying moment.
It's a very corporate.
Yes.
um,
But it's true. You get on a performance plan, you better snuff up your resume.
I can't stand synergy, and
Yeah.
I hate myself for using it this week.
Yeah. Yeah, synergy that's been around for a long time and that's overused because really every single business silos themselves so much anyways that there is no synergy across the entire, this is another one, enterprise.
Yeah.
There's no synergy across the enterprise because they're all in silos that don't work together anyways, that each have their own set of goals that are completely agnostic of the rest of the goals of the rest of the people. There's no such thing as synergy. Synergy is basically sit down and shut up while I say what I'm going to say in this meeting.
Have you seen? There's a guy on TikTok that does this where he lists out in bullets all the different corporate things he's going to say as a manager to his staff in a team. So he's like, "Can everyone see my screen? Okay, cool." It's
Yes.
I'll send it. I'll find it and send it to you. It's
Yeah.
amazing because it's literally him taking every bit of corporate ick you can think of and stuffing it into like 30 seconds.
Yes. I've had to deal with corporate Kool-Aid. I did it for 6.5 years, and I was a bull in a china shop. Realize I came from a place where we built a cardboard dollhouse around a guy's cube when he had two daughters, when he had twin daughters born, and left it there. It had a door that he could actually go in and out of and all that sort of stuff. We had none of that corporate culture whatsoever. At one point, we somebody left their computer unlocked, so we turned their the default language in their keyboard to Russian, and then
Oh, that's brutal.
put gay porn as the lock screen
Oh
and
my
then
god.
locked the computer so he could never unlock it. They had to re-image his computer to undo it because we had locked his computer. I mean, we had no restraint whatsoever. Then going to a place like I went, which was highly, highly sensitive to those sorts of things. Yeah, it was a big adjustment for me the first little bit that I was there.
I yeah, I mean I was trying to think like my because I've been working for a lot of smaller companies in the past 10 years. But we definitely had the office shenanigans, if you will. Like it's very interesting because I think like watching The Office. Obviously, I understand it's fictional, blah blah blah. It actually made me like pine for those office moments that I used to have because it's like you don't being a remote employee, you get camaraderie in a certain way, but it's not the same as being in an office where you can, mess with people or go to lunch with them or whatever. So I would love to have built a dollhouse on my coworker's desk.
Well, I'll give you an example, and I'm going to change some names so I don't get people in trouble because some people still work for that company. But we went out to lunch with a guy that was obviously very ADHD. Okay, like the ultimate. He couldn't focus on anything at any time. Either that or he was just really, really bored. But he's driving. We're coming back to our office, and he pulls into a party supply store. Like, does a hard right turn to get into there. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So we walk in with him. He walks up to the front and he says, "Yeah, I want a mullet and some shooting glasses." And we're
What?
like, what the heck? And so he buys this fake belly, this mullet hairstyle, and these shooting glasses, and goes back to the office. I was big into NASCAR at that time, so he took one of my NASCAR jackets and became this new character that I ended up calling Cletus T. Hamilton the Third. Okay, and literally, he would sit there for hours at a time, just randomly being Cletus T. Hamilton the Third. We did an interview with a guy by the name of Donnie. I'm more than willing to mention Donnie's name because Donnie was an idiot. But he did the interview as Cletus T. Hamilton the Third. Um, uh, I had an hour a day for about a month and a half, where I learned PowerPoint by doing photoshops of this one guy that worked for us. Basically, what happened was I did a first Photoshop of him. It was pretty simple. It was him in a Flintstone car. And then he tried to do one back. And then I did a whole bunch of them. I did like 3 of them in a row that evolved off of that um, uh, Flintstone car one. My boss actually gave me an hour a day to go and do another Photoshop of this person every single day. And I can't I can't describe them without giving away the person, and he was not happy with it, and I'm not going to do that again because he's a friend of mine now. But I was literally given an hour a day just to do those Photoshops. We had no controls. We had no HR in that building whatsoever.
I, I can't even fathom doing that in 2024. Like,
Yeah,
you'd have to work for a company under 10 or something like that to be able to get away with
yeah,
it.
yep.
Um, I to go back to the topic at hand. Uh, this is a phrase that isn't used incorrectly at all. It's just something I vehemently don't believe. Um, so it bothers me when people do say it. Is cheaters never prosper?
Okay, but we
Because
know they do.
our society's built on cheating.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I mean, take the biggest redneck sport that there is out there next to wrestling, because wrestling's not a sport, wrestling's entertainment. Um, it's in the name. Um, NASCAR was built off of cheating. The entire premise of NASCAR was these bootleggers that were trying to get around prohibition were souping up their cars to outrun the police because they had all the jars in the back of the car. That's where NASCAR came from. So to think of it in terms of this country wasn't built on cheating would be absolutely incorrect because there's so many ways that we could go back in history. We'll get it into another day. I really hope we can. I don't want to do it today. But the big lie about Texas, that could be an entire episode in itself.
big lie.
Yeah, I'm teasing something that I haven't talked to you about, but I'd love to talk about the big lie of Texas.
Okay. Well,
So,
we could also do an episode on how Texas mispronounces everything. Um,
yeah, well, everything's bigger in Texas, including the stupidity.
um, another one that
You just walked past that. It's just like, I'm not going there. I'm just going to go on to the next topic. Let's go 180 degrees from what Dan just said.
well, if I bite into that, that's a whole episode unto itself.
So
In
here's a
addition,
fun one.
okay,
Here's a fun one. I'm obviously from Canada. I've never hidden that on this show. Okay. I still have some Canadianisms. I've gotten rid of most of them because I lived in Florida for a little bit. And if they find out you're Canadian in Florida at a restaurant, I'm pretty sure you eat an enormous amount of spit in your food because they think you're bad tippers. So the service is bad, so you tip badly. It's a recursive thing. So I got rid of saying A. I don't say A. I hear it so much when my family says it, but I don't say it anymore.
okay.
But there are words that I have problems with because let's say when you go to the grocery store and you want to get vegetables, what department do you go to?
Produce.
But I go to the produce department.
But that's
Produce, not produce.
but there's no A.
But it's produce.
But there's no A.
But that's what I say because that's what Canadians say. Okay, there's just things that we say that are different. Is it data or is it data?
Well, that I'm a data person, but
But I was a data person for the longest time because Canada calls it data, not data.
is it beta? Is it beta?
No, it's beta. BETA is beta. I owned a Beta Max. I did not own a Beta Max.
It all depends on who you talk to.
2 T's equals beta. 1 T equals beta.
Look, I
'Cause
agree it's beta, but I have run into people in my world that say beta.
So here's a good one. I worked in a customer service for a cable modem, a technical support area. And there was a woman that sat beside me for probably a good 8 months of while I was there. And yahoo.com allows you to
That was
ping
Canadian.
their website. What?
That was Canadian, the way you said Yahoo.
That's what we're going to get to. They allow you to ping. So we would have people ping yahoo.com because we wanted to see if they're actually online or not, if they're getting past their loopback address, if they're getting past their modem. And every single time I said Yahoo, I was told I was saying it wrong. She would giggle a little bit. And I could never figure out why. And to this day, I still never remember what the correct way that it's said in the US, but the way that I say Yahoo is wrong.
It's Yahoo.
But I say Yahoo.
You say when you huh?
I say Yahoo.
You do?
Apparently, I inflect
You have an
somewhere
inflection.
slightly different,
Yeah.
and I've never been able to figure it out. I don't know how to say it in the United States way because I can't figure out the difference between the way I inflect and the way that I'm supposed to inflect
Say it.
to be marginalized into this society.
Say it one more time.
Yahoo.
So it sounds like you're saying yeah, like YEAH, instead of
And
Yah.
what am I supposed to say? Yahoo?
Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
like think of the commercial. Yahoo.
I could have gone the rest of my life without hearing you sing the Yahoo commercial,
I
just
did,
so you're
it was
aware.
a pretty good note. I think a little clarity in my vibrato.
The audience, all of you that are still listening after we did the whole thing we did to start this episode off, just consider yourself lucky that you didn't have to see the hand motions that Ryan just did. Yeah, he's got a smile on his face that alone is a reason to punch him in the face.
Now you can see my eyebrows. No. So what phrase that gets me every time. I just thought of this. I'm just sitting here like because I had them all written down and then this one just came to me. I'll take an espresso.
Yes.
That actually makes me cringe, even me saying it. I'm like, where's the X? Where's the X? Somebody show me the X in a fucking word.
Yeah, so I have two words that my wife laughs at me because I can't. It took me the longest time to learn how to spell one of them, and I can't say the other one. I always thought that in the word exercise there was a C after the X for the longest time. It took me a long time to be able to figure out how to spell the word exercise because in the back of my mouth, I'm saying a C very quickly after the X. Exercise.
There is a C in there.
But it's exercise, and I say exercise. Like there's a C after the X.
I feel like you're saying it correctly, but you're just saying it fast. And you're
Listen carefully. Exercise.
Mm-hmm.
There's a C in exercise after the X. It sounds like it's part of the X, but in my head there was a C there.
Oh,
I know
I
it's
see.
not.
I see what you're doing. Okay.
Not exercise.
But I say it the same way. I say exercise.
Yeah, because you're blending the X, but there's a little bit of a C afterwards.
I hear it now, but I've never thought about that.
Because of that C, for the longest time, I thought that there was actually a C in how you wrote it. And every time I wrote exercise, I had to go back and scratch out the C because that's not how you spell it, obviously. But
Right.
I could not get it into my brain that it was EXE, not EXCE.
Ah, okay, okay. What's your
The
other
other one,
one?
Massachusetts. I'm marbling out of my mouth when I say that, so that people don't see that I don't know how to say that word.
Massachusetts.
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 It's like
Massachusetts.
Worcester sauce. I, I mean,
Worcestershire.
I mean, I marble mouth it because I literally cannot say that word. If I'm trying to say it in a sentence, I have to say it very quickly and very marbly because if I slow it down and I think about it, I could probably say it properly, but I don't speak in a way like I'm already 5 words ahead of what I'm going to say. I can't go back and start thinking, okay, how am I going to say this word?
I'm trying to think if I have it. I mean, Mrs. No. I love I think I love like diction
Yeah.
exercises. So it's always funny to not funny. I'm not making fun, but like to hear those little things. The exercise thing is really curious to me because I say that the way you were spelling it.
Yeah. And so again, my grandmother could not say the word aluminum. She was from Europe.
Oh,
She called it
aluminium.
aluminium.
Yeah.
Okay. I interchangeably go between the two because I spent a lot of time with my grandparents when I was a kid. So aluminium wasn't far off. It's not a Canadianism. We didn't go the Commonwealth definition. We called it aluminum, but I called it aluminium for a while when I was a kid too.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my best friends is English, and we always seem to bring up who says what correctly because
Yeah.
she says like vitamin and things like that.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah. Vitamin
aubergine.
bugs me.
Yeah, it's like
I
it's just vitamin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, this is the one I'm going to talk about next is actually one that has become way more prevalent, especially in like fast casual dining, even restaurants, day to day interactions. But when somebody says no worries or no problem as a salutation, when you say thank you, no worries, no problem.
Oh, I've obviously never been thanked by you then because I have extreme issues being able to say you're welcome. I do.
What do
I
you
I
say?
always say no. I always say no problem. So the
Ah,
fact that you don't know that means that you've never congratulated me for anything.
well, I think congratulations, you would probably say thanks, right?
I'll say thank you. I don't say you're welcome. I've
Oh,
never been able to say you're welcome. So if you've thanked me for something, you got a no problem from me. That's what I say.
thank you for the brow kit.
Oh, you're welcome. but
Well done.
but the restaurant piece of that though is interesting because what makes me want to punch people when I'm in a restaurant is you get the food, you've had enough time to make your first cut into it, not put anything in your mouth, just make your first cut in whatever it is, and the waitress or the waiter, the server comes up and says, "How are the first few bites tasting?"
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, let me fucking eat.
yeah.
I don't want to talk to you while I'm trying to figure out if there's anything in here that is going to make this meal the most horrible experience of my life. Right
So
now, you saying that is starting it down that path.
I agree. It's a pet peeve of mine. Went to a really nice restaurant recently, and I don't know, like if you're gonna pay $100 for a meal, you expect a little bit of a different experience. And I found them to be so insanely intent on being attentive that it was like I couldn't even have a conversation with my table because they were checking on us so frequently. And it was a rotation of like four different people. And then the constant, like, it was one of those where after every dish, they take away your plate and give you a new one, that kind of thing, which also drives me nuts. Like, fuck it. I know it's all for presentation, but quit it.
You must have all sorts of problems going to Brazilian steakhouses like Fogo de Chao or Rodizio Grill.
Yeah, I don't actually. So, truth be known, just late last year, I went to my like first real Brazilian steakhouse experience that I could remember. And I did have a problem with it because I'm like, just you, same fucking plate. You're bringing the meat to me. Quit, quit it. Just
Yeah.
leave a pitcher of water. Fuck off. You're interrupting this meal all the time, and you already have the gauchos coming over to cut more steak. That's a lot of interaction.
Oh, I've been in one of those places. There was a Fogo de Chao that my brother and I went to whenever he was in town, and we would go on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So like, there's 6 people in the entire restaurant, and there's 20 servers, and they limit their menu so they're not overcooking and that sort of stuff. But we learned how to abuse the system. We would tell them what we wanted them to cook, and they'd come out with an entire skewer of whatever we wanted them to cook, rather than just bringing around random stuff.
Oh.
But
Oh,
I
that's
had
interesting.
we've talked about my bad bite syndrome
Yeah.
before. I had one of the worst bad bites that I've ever had at Fogo de Chao. I went to the salad bar because you're supposed to lay a base. You got to avoid the grease getting through too quickly. So you have to lay a lettuce base. There's a process to going and eating at Fogo de Chao. You don't eat a heavy breakfast. You don't eat the morning meal. You don't drink anything that's carbonated. You don't drink anything that has any caffeine in it. There's a whole process to get your money's worth at Fogo. Anyways, I go to there and I see, wow, they've got cheese strings. Why would they have cheese strings? That seems really odd, but I'm getting me a cheese string because I think a cheese string would be a good thing
I
right
don't
now.
know what a cheese
I
string is. What is a cheese string?
It's a mozzarella stick that you can peel. You've never had a
Oh, okay,
cheese
okay,
string?
okay. Well, what do I call that? A cheese stick or something like that. I don't know.
It's a cheese string because
Okay.
it's stringy cheese. But anyways, I get back there and I go to start peeling and it's not peeling right, and I take a bite. It's a freaking artichoke heart.
That's amazing.
I honestly could not tell the difference between a cheese string and an artichoke heart.
I mean,
And
they're both cold, so they both peel.
I took the tiniest little string off of that. I tried eating it. It came out of my mouth. That cheese string was, on the side of the plate where it couldn't touch anything because that was not a cheese string. And I was embarrassed by the fact that I made that mistake.
Oh yeah, you were mentally not there for that.
Yeah.
Do I call it? I don't call it. Do I call it string cheese? Cheese stick? I don't know. Sorry, I'm
It's
trying to
string
think.
cheese or cheese string. It can be either, but that's how they're labeled. I'm surprised that you're having this big of a problem figuring out what they
Oh,
are.
I don't buy them, so it's like I buy the little Baby Bell ones. Those are fucking great. Oh my god, I love
Uh,
those.
Say lactose intolerance. I do that. I aerate the house. So
I also should not partake in dairy, but I've
yeah.
never done the test to officially say like, yeah, you're lactose intolerant. But um,
I've found out my daughter is definitely lactose intolerant because you give her anything with cheese in it, and half an hour later, she's just tuba.
just a
Uh,
wreck.
and my ex-wife does not want to admit that she is because obviously you need to get calcium into growing kids and that sort of stuff. But my daughter is definitely lactose intolerant. You can tell by the continued orchestra of, as Joe would call it, anal dominance that occurs out of that child after she's had some lactose in her system.
Good reference.
And I've tried the pills. Honestly, anybody that can get those pills to work, good for you. They do not
Oh,
work.
the lactate or whatever.
A lactate. I'll take one if I'm having a slice of cheese, but I can't drink a glass of milk
Wait,
anymore.
but you fucking love pizza. How the shit are you eating pizza?
I force my way through it.
Ah, okay.
So
I
I
was
don't
with you
eat.
for a full goddamn day, and you maintain composure without any issue.
Yeah. You did notice that I snuck away to the bathroom a couple of times, though.
Mm, now it's making sense.
Yes.
Okay.
So, plus the amount of cheese that was on that pizza, Andrea's Pizza, downtown Minneapolis, off of LaSalle, second
Very good.
floor, over by where the Macy's shoe area used to be. Love that pizza. Best New York style pizza you're ever going to have outside of New York.
Yeah, it was. I was very surprised that it was as good as it was, given the location too, because like you're just in like some indoor office thing, and there happens to be this great pizza place on there that's just hidden.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
was busy. It was
I
busy.
still I still have the owner's phone number in my phone because I helped him with a bunch of things to the point that I had my own seat in this restaurant. I think we've talked about that
Yeah,
before.
you
Anyways,
did.
we're a little bit off track
Yeah,
here.
that's all
You
right.
had others you wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah, it's one that I think is a little bit of a farce. Uh, to sleep like a baby.
Okay.
Every baby I've ever encountered, and I don't have kids, babies don't fucking sleep. They're
De-
torrential nightmares.
Depends. See, this is where there's the baby when it's first born is going to be up every 2 hours. Okay, that's just a guaranteed. Anybody that has children knows that. You get the baby to sleep 2 hours later, it wants to be fed or it wants to be changed. That you just get used to that. But when the baby hits about 6 months old, then the baby will go to sleep and it will stay asleep and it will not move. My wife insists that I roll around the bed like crazy. I don't see it, but for some reason I end up with all the blankets at the end of the night. So apparently I'm rolling while I'm sleeping. That's not sleeping like a baby. You put a baby to sleep, a 6 month old baby to sleep, and they go to sleep, they stay asleep. They don't move, they don't roll, they don't fidget, they don't do anything. Every once in a while, they may twitch, but that's it.
Well, then I'm just projecting and I'm jealous because I don't sleep like this description that you're giving.
It sounds like you have problems. And my daughter was the hardest baby to get to go to sleep when she was 6 months old. But
Mm,
when she went to sleep, she was good for a good 6 to 8 hours.
wow. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I look back at like my brother because we're quite a few years apart. He was a nightmare to get to sleep, but all his life, like, and now he could sleep through, a fucking hurricane. So it's like everything shifted, like when he got to adulthood, but like as a child, oh God,
So here's my fun one. My wife gets mad at me when I'll just fall asleep on the couch because falling asleep for her is a process. Falling asleep for me is a choice.
I'm jealous of that too. So you can sleep on planes then pretty well.
No, I can't sleep on planes.
Oh,
That
okay.
that I have that problem. But you put me on a bed or on a couch, and I could just roll over, throw a blanket on me, and I'm out. I'm done.
Wow. I'm so jealous of that because I can pass out on the couch, but whenever I hit a bed, I'm like, huh, my brain's awake all of a sudden. It's time to go into Google search mode. It's
That's
just
because you don't have anything to occupy your brain to tone it down as you go to sleep. You need a white noise machine.
yeah, the iPhone I just found out it's probably not new, so I'm not doing any groundbreaking things. There's a white noise machine built into there that you can set on a timer that comes with the phone. So
I'm shocked that you think that you're ever going to be bringing something new to anything. I just don't see it. No offense, but offense.
it's not.
There's the last one I wanted to bring up
Oh,
was people that say no offense and then
yeah.
go on to offend you.
Yeah. Because when they're gonna say that phrase, they're gonna say something offensive, or they're gonna
Yeah.
say something that could be questionable, and you're like, "Fuck you."
They're literally asking for permission to offend you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like here's my free pass. I'm not gonna give you any warning. Are you okay with this? Nope. We're just gonna roll right into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the growing up being where I am in the country right now, the other one that is really interesting is when you bring up something to somebody and they say, "I'm sorry that you feel that way," or "I'm sorry that you
Oh,
interpreted it that way."
that's
The
almost
passive
condescending.
aggressive,
Yeah.
yeah, the passive aggressive. I'm sorry, but not for what I did, but for the fact that you took it the way that you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the idiot here.
Yes, yeah, or you're the one that you getting offended is the problem, not me being offensive.
I mean, I do kind of love that logic. I'm just realizing that the lady that cut my hair missed a spot pretty significantly.
So, speaking of people with ADHD, we're
It was-
sitting here on a podcast and he's feeling up the back of his
Well,
head.
yeah, I was just like, I just touched it and I was like, she missed a few spots. This is kind of bullshit. That was not a cheap haircut. I just didn't dress appropriately to walk as far as I normally would for my haircut. So I was like, I'll just go to this one close by. It can't be bad.
Well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Another great saying that I would like to punch people when they say, because what I pay for is what I want, not what I get.
Yeah. And
Okay,
it also doesn't apply like in this circumstance. Like, okay, you're implying that by paying the amount I paid, I'm gonna get something worse. In reality, this haircut I got yesterday is more expensive than my normal place, and it did worse. So no, I didn't get what I paid for.
wow, that was a whole bunch of pointing in different directions that people didn't get to see
Yes.
while you were saying that. You were angry in that moment.
I'm angry at that phrase.
Did you did you punch her in the face?
I didn't know it, and I have to go back now. I just felt it in this moment. This is the first time I was like, "Oh, she missed a whole fuck." I'm gonna have to go with like my thing. It's like a skin fade. No one can see that. I don't know why I'm trying to show anyone, but
On the back of your head that's pointed away from the camera.
yeah. But I'm gonna have to go in and clean this shit up myself, and this is gonna be a delicate process. It's gonna be the holding a mirror and trimming and having to do it backwards kind of thing. At least
I
it's a
mean,
skin fade. I can't fuck that up too much.
literally, now you have to go back and punch that woman in the face
I
because
gave
you
her a
didn't
five.
get what you paid for.
It sucks because I gave her a 5-star review because
Mm,
she was great. She was fun. She was great to talk to, but obviously doesn't know how to cut hair.
yeah. Well, I mean, I would lodge a complaint because obviously your hair is the only thing you've got going for you.
No, not much of it. The one thing that pissed me off, she was like, "Oh, you're kind of getting thin on the crown," and was like, this is day one. There will be no day two."
That, yeah, that's another punch in the face moment right there too. I actually have the inverse problem of I know I'm getting a little bit thin, but in my 30s, I honestly thought I was getting a bald spot, and I would say, I'll just try to hide my bald spot back there, and they say you don't have a bald spot, and I'd accuse them of lying just to get a bigger tip. So,
That's awesome.
and then somebody showed me on a mirror. I had no problems at that point.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
we could do an entire show on things that I thought were going on in my body that weren't, but that I accuse people of.
I like that you turn it back on them.
Oh, well, that's what a good narcissist does.
You're calling yourself a narcissist?
There's levels of narcissism, yes.
Yeah, I think everyone's got a little bit here and there. Some
Yeah.
narcissists.
Think of the last time that you said sorry to something that you were actually sorry for, as opposed to just trying to escape the situation that you were saying you were sorry for.
I don't apologize a lot. But
I'm Canadian. I apologize all the time, but
oh,
it doesn't mean I always mean it. I always mean it every single time I say it to my wife. She's going to listen to this every single time, babe. Every single time.
I'm not going to correct what I said.
Yeah, well, you have to still say thank you to her for your brow kit. And then we'll see what she says. If she says no problem or if she says you're welcome.
Or you betcha.
No, she does not. She's Chicago. She does not say you betcha.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then she'll be nice about it. She'll say you're welcome.
I don't know. I got a feeling she'll say something much worse.
Like fuck off.
Like,
or you need more help than just a brow kit.
like trim those dill brows, buddy.
Oh, the lady did trim these yesterday. I feel
Yeah,
like
they are a tiny bit more visible now that she trimmed them. Are
But
you
this
sure
is
they just didn't go gray?
no, this is a different program, so I don't have the softening thing on here. But
Yeah. Okay.
um, but I think we can wrap it for today.
Oh wow, you already want to get out of this. Go figure.
I want to go eat lunch. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, because you don't edit any of this shit, I get to spend the next hour putting all this together and loading it onto the multitude of platforms we put it on. Well, you get to go eat. Imagine that. So,
Yeah.
a couple things before we do end. I want to say I had a problem getting onto our own website for a bit. Turned out it was a filter that was turned on by my ISP inside of my Wi-Fi without them telling me, which means I couldn't even go to my own website. So we haven't done website updates in a little bit. That's coming. Just realized I'm behind on those updates a little bit based off of
It's
that.
okay.
Second of all, we made the executive decision that we're doing 20 episodes a season.
Yep.
And Ryan and I were talking about it yesterday, and we're playing with the idea of having another set of minisodes that will bridge between the end of the first season and the beginning of our second season. And we're going to try to be a little bit more serious, but still be us. So this is episode 17. That means that we still have 3 more episodes before the end of the season. But look for a little fun thing that we're going to do in between. And no, it's not the Squid Games thing. It's something that we both thought was really interesting to be able to do. So we'll get deeper into it as we get closer to it. But it's just branching out a little bit what we're doing without losing the core of what we want to do in this show.
Yeah, I think it's we had fun ideating on it yesterday, so I'm excited for it.
Yep. And now here's the part where Ryan tells people who are already watching this show where to listen to this show.
No one's watching it.
Lots of people are watching it. Remember, we looked at the numbers yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't think they can watch our show.
I have. Are you being picky about the visual versus the audio?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, you're number one.
But you can definitely find us all over the web, where all your favorite podcasts are streamed. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. Visit us at repressedhumorissues.com. Like Dan said, we will have some more updates coming on that. Hit us up on our social medias. We have Twitter, RHI_podcast, or on Instagram at Repressed Humor Issues. And if you have anything that you want to send us in, ideas, feedback, content, smut, whatever you want, really, we'll take it.
Smut goes to clowncollegeboy at gmail.com.
But repressedhumorissues at gmail.com works as well.
But just sorry, something that's happened in this week that's fairly important. We started receiving more feedback and really good feedback on what you guys want to hear. Keep that coming. We're still working with this format. We're still trying to get it to the point where, we're going through the first season. What do we want to do and that sort of stuff? We've got a good idea what we want to do. Now we want to hone it, and any feedback that you have helps us hone it so that, Ryan and I do this because we like the conversations that we have with each other. We're not in this for the ratings, but at the same point, we like it when other people listen to it. So making it so that the people that like the kind of things that we do listen to it is important to us. So please, excuse me, give us that feedback.
Yeah, we're open to it. We take it. We love it. Good, bad, indifferent. We're here for it. So keep it
I wonder how many people would email in that they're indifferent to our show.
I mean, I would take that as feedback. If they're saying, I'm indifferent to your content, okay, we need to spice it up a little bit. Let's change it up, right?
No, they're indifferent. They don't care or not care.
Well, I want them to care. That's
okay, but
the narcissist.
Care or not care, you can't solve that.
You can't solve it.
Okay, Clown College Boy.
But until next time, thank you all for joining us for another episode of Repressed Humor Issues. I'm Ryan.
I'm Dan.
Y'all have a great day. I also had a fucking embarrassing moment last night. God damn it.
What did you do?
So I was rushing. My friend was picking me up at my apartment to go to our watch party. And I was bringing wine, and I had like a box of wine or whatever. And I had my phone also out in my hand. And I'm sitting there recording myself talking to myself without knowing it, and then I sent it to the group. So everyone's got the audio recording of me in the elevator going, fuck, 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 come on, come on, come on. Oh, fucking asshole. Because somebody made me stop on 2.
Got it.
And then I come into the party and people are holding up their phones playing my text. And I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
yeah,
classic.
I was like, it was very mildly uh concerning, but I still was like, God damn it, Ryan. Pay a
Yep.
little bit closer attention.